We practiced for 6 months, got our first show at the Empty Bottle, and then we made a 3-song EP that had a couple of songs that got the attention of a manager out of New York.
How did the band happen?
How did the band happen?
Yes.
Oh man, well, the band happened many, many years ago when Damien and Tim, the singer and the bass player, met when they were in summer camp. I think they were about 11 years old, and they became very, very good friends and pen pals. And I think from that moment forward, there was always a plan for them to be in a band together. Come around 1998, Damien moved from Rhode Island, where he was going to school, to Chicago, where Tim, myself, and the original guitar player had already had a band. When he arrived in Chicago, we decided to combine forces and become OK Go.
Okay. So, and what were those early days like for the band?
The early days for OK Go were, well, obviously no internet.
Yeah.
And really not even cell phones for us.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think we were all kind of just doing as much rehearsing as possible. I don't even think Pro Tools was really much of a thing. Maybe it was in its infancy at the time, but we would get together 3-4 times a week and practice every day after work. I was a bartender. Tim, I think, was still finishing up school, and our plan was to figure out a way to get into the Chicago club circuit. And so we practiced for 6 months and got our first show at the Empty Bottle in Chicago, and just tried to focus on getting that local crowd into our scene. We would do interesting things to try to promote our shows, which were sort of infamous now. We would take screen presses and screen press our own posters and go around in the middle of the night and wheat paste them up around Chicago. And the club owners would get tickets from the city for, whatever vandalization or whatever that is, and
would they take a chunk out of your guys' pay if you
no,
were getting
well,
paid?
I think they just paid the citations. Like the shows were doing well, so I think they appreciated the effort, and Damien was a really good design artist, so the posters were actually quite beautiful, and but we went crazy with that. We put every single L stop there was, 100 posters per stop, and one of the first times that New City magazine did an article about us, they were like, "This is the band that vandalizes the city," and it was just sort of a funny way to get people to recognize the name and what we were up to.
So you really came up in a different era, as you said, because there was no cell phones, no internet yet.
Yeah, no.
So did you guys get signed early on, or what? Did you have to move to LA first, or how did that work?
Well, we were doing that sort of regional shows, Chicago, maybe up to Milwaukee,
weekend runs.
Yeah, that sort of thing. And then we made a 3-song EP that had a couple of songs that got the attention of a manager out of New York. His name is Jamie Kitman, and he was much more connected in the industry. And I think he was able to pass that CD around. I mean, we're talking like a single CD.
Yeah.
And it got into some of the right hands, and I don't know if there was much of a bidding war, but we were looking at a couple different label options, and we ended up going with Capitol Records in 2001.
Okay,
And
and
so
that's when you guys did the first album,
Yeah,
and that's the one with "Get Over It," right?
that's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
okay.
that was the song.
Yeah.
That was the song. And
Yeah.
the demo version of the song, I think, was had gotten a lot of attention from some industry folk, and then just a few short weeks after that, we also did like a sort of a more substantial tour with They Might Be Giants,
Oh, okay.
and
Introduce you to a new audience.
yeah, and they sort of showed us how it's done, like on the road, with many dates, different cities, and so we got some of that experience, and then shortly after that, we went to Los Angeles to cut our first record.